The fact of the matter is, Charlie Kirk was killed because he was speaking things the left can't stand. They believe that that kind of speech is hate speech, and therefore hate speech is violence, a form of violence. And if hate speech is a form of violence, then it should be met with another form of violence. You understand the rationale? You're taught as a Christian, they're under the power of darkness, but they're a soul like a Saul that's capable of being a Paul. So we always hold that tension that they may be despicable, but it's the ideas they have and the demons behind them that we're fighting, not them. They're the reverse. They not only hate your ideas, they hate you and want to take you out. You want to take out the demon and the ideas, they want to take out you. You understand the difference? This is the spiritual warfare we're in, and the reason we're there is because the church, for too long, did not address the systematic takeover of these other structures. Until someone like Charlie comes along or Donald Trump comes along as a Christian and wades there and says, nope, we're going to understand now what God's doing. He's recapturing the government mountain. He's going after the education mountain. Charlie is a martyr on the education mountain and on the government mountain because as a Christian, he felt compelled to go after youth over here in the family who are getting deceived in education. He mobilized youth and family here to have an impact in government. Understand, he is the forerunner of a seventh mountain movement.
Well, I hope y'all noticed something. I noticed several things there. My NAR meter is going off the charts, let me just tell you. But for y'all that don't know who that is, that's Lance Wallnau. And Lance Wallnau has actually been on the Charlie Kirk show a couple times maybe. And Kirk was on Lance's show, and he even said that he listened to Lance's podcast and he recommended him. And let me also point out too that Mr. Wallnau has spoken as of last year at TPUSA Faith Pastor Summit, and he explicitly talked about the 7 mountains, and he even had a little bitty quick schematic of apostolic networks that he put up and said it might be controversial, but we'll talk about that again in a couple weeks. And I do research, y'all, in case y'all didn't know that, but Lance actually made it clear in a conversation to Charlie, and I don't know how much, to be fair, I don't know how much Charlie knew about the extent of the dangers of the New Apostolic Reformation, okay? But I am concerned about the affiliations with Word of Faith and NAR. I'm not going to be shy about that. But Lance made it clear in that conversation that he was the one that informed Charlie about the 7 Mountain Mandate, and he grabbed onto it. At any rate, Lance Wallnau just made Charlie Kirk a martyr in the New Apostolic Reformation, and that should concern you, because this movement is dangerous. It's dangerous and it's unbiblical. Lance Wallnau starts talking he is a dominionist. I mean, that's dominionism with 7 Mountain Mandate. It doesn't matter how you try to slice it or how you try to word it. It's dominionism. Okay? He's talking about that the problem is that the church has not done a takeover, a strategic takeover, and grabbed onto this takeover, these 7 mountains. Where is that in the Bible? Where is that the church is supposed to take over society? I mean, we're supposed to preach the gospel or proclaim the gospel and make disciples. We're not to create a theocracy. We're not to take over things. And then notice that he's putting these 7 mountains up, which that's not even in Scripture. There's some other 7 mountains that are listed, or 7 hills in the book of Revelation with the woman that rides the beast, but I don't know if they want to be associated with that. That's probably a separate thing. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But, yeah, he just made Charlie Kirk a martyr in the NAR, y'all. And there's some affiliations with the organization, and I think it's worth looking into. So, stay biblical, my friends. Stay biblical. Pay attention to what people are saying, to the language they're using. Ask questions. You don't have a demon because you question this stuff either. I mean, they will try to turn the narrative and say, if you're against the whole 7 Mountain Mandate, that you are a leftist, or that you're against the move of God. No, that's called being biblical, sir. That's called using proper biblical discernment. And that's what we're called to do as Christians. And as someone who was in this belief system, I reject it. I reject it. But I believe wholeheartedly that God's kingdom, the kingdom that Jesus is king over, is not of this world. And in the meantime, while I'm here sojourning in this earth, I'm going to proclaim the gospel and make disciples, and we'll start with my children. And one of the things I'm going to teach them is not to listen to this garbage. So stay biblical, my friends, and stay alert. It's wild out there.